What changed between the end of Miketz and the beginning of Vayigash? At the end of Miketz, Yehuda offers himself and his brothers to be responsible for Binyamin's perceived offense, and Yosef dismisses it out of hand. He doesn't want to have 11 slaves. He says, you all can go home. And at the beginning of Vayigash, Yehuda comes back again and offers himself instead of Binyamin, and this time Yosef is overcome with emotion. He reveals himself to his brothers, and the story of Yosef and his brothers comes full circle. So what is the big difference between Yehuda's offer at the end of Miketz and Yehuda's offer at the beginning of Vayigash? Certainly we could point to the tremendous personal responsibility, the achrayus, the arvos that Yehuda expresses in Vayigash, and that is certainly the case. But I think there might be another nekuda which struck Yosef personally. And that is the incredible parallel between Yehuda's willingness to sacrifice his own ambitions and his own life for his brother is very similar to something that Yosef did just in last week's parasha. The Ramban asks in Miketz, how could it be that Yosef, once he achieved a level of seniority in Potiphar's house, why didn't he send a letter to Yaakov? Why didn't he write home and say, hi, Abba, I'm here, you can come get me now, or go for a visit? What made him stay in Potiphar's house without letting anyone know? The Ramban answers that Yosef understood from the time he had his dreams, from the time he was sold into slavery, that he was playing a role in HaKadosh Baruch Hu's vision for the world. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted the dreams to come true, and Yosef intuited through deep thought that it must be that his role was to stay in Potiphar's house and wait for those dreams to come true and see where Yad Hashem would bring him. That entailed incredible personal sacrifice. Yosef had to stay far away from his family. He had to stay away from Eretz Yisrael. He had to stay in Mitzrayim, a makom zima, a makom erva. And he did it all because he understood that was his responsibility to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. In a very similar way, Yehuda was not just offering to be instead of Binyamin. Yehuda was offering to stay forever in Mitzrayim, to be an eved, in a slave in the house of this Mishnah Melech, this mysterious man. He was sacrificing his personal ambitions to his family, to live in Eretz Yisrael, to live in a place where he could focus on Avodas Hashem. And he was willing to do all of that because of the responsibility he felt towards Binyamin. We see an incredible parallel between two great people, one who is willing to forego his personal ambitions because of the responsibility he feels to fulfill his understanding, his correct understanding of Ratzon Hashem, and another who is willing to forego very similar ambitions because of the great personal responsibility he feels towards his fellow man. Often in life, we are given the opportunity to devote ourselves to our ambitions, whether those ambitions be personal, familial, or even in Avodas Hashem. But sometimes in life, we are asked, we understand that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to put aside what we otherwise would have wanted, our own ambitions, and to respond instead to His ritzonos. And sometimes in life, we must put aside our personal ambitions because we must respond to the needs of somebody else, of another klal, or even just another yachid. For example, these days we all know nobody likes to wear a mask. We all know that nobody likes to stay home in a quarantine, and yet we understand that our responsibilities to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and our responsibilities to our fellow men take precedence. And Be'ezus Hashem, through putting other people's ritzonos before ours, and by putting HaKadosh Baruch Hu's ratzon before ours, we will, like Yosef and Yehuda, be zocha l'geula shleima b'mher v'yameinu. Amen.